Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So this is more so just a little PSA and a little bit of discussion on a change that was made to the weekend missions. So if you haven't already seen, the weekend missions actually end tonight on the daily reset. Previously, weekend missions actually ended on Monday evening. I know it's a little weird, but given they don't go live until Friday evening, I think a lot of people preferred having that 72 hours as opposed to 48 hours. This is also the first weekend mission of the new season, and because of that, there's no card release because the Phoenix Force is the release of the week going to Series 5, and so like last season, they gave us kind of a random card for the gold mission. However, last season, it was Patriot, which I think you can argue is a more accessible card since it's Pool 3, and this time it is Nimrod, which is Pool 4. So I think that's a bit of an L. I don't think it's great that they're requiring a card that's harder to get. I think I've seen a lot of people not too happy about that. And on top of that, these weekend missions always end up warping the meta a lot since everyone is incentivized to play with this card to get the gold. So I've been seeing like nothing but Nimrod decks, and it really makes things kind of stale. I think this is kind of an issue we saw in the past with the hot locations. People didn't like how it essentially just drastically altered the meta for a few days, and then everything goes back to normal once it goes away. And this just kind of encourages either going all in on the strategy and getting a bunch of mirrors, or just going out of your way to pack all the tech answers possible to make everyone who's trying to get this done really, really miserable. So I wanted to put this out just so people know that the weekend missions are ending tonight. If you thought you had an extra day like the other weekends, you don't. I think that's pretty unfortunate. I've been playing pretty casually recently, so I only finished these today because I wanted to get it done. But I really, really dislike how, even though it's still the same amount of wins, you lose essentially a third of the time you have to actually get this done. And overall, it really made my experience playing Snap this weekend just not very fun. I also wanted to bring up something else, though. This is one of the comments I received on this post. It's a weekend challenge, not to finish it a Monday night challenge. Seems like a reasonable change to make. And I think this is the best example of showing how some people will defend the most asinine decisions in this game that in no way, shape, or form actually benefit the player base. In this case, it makes it objectively worse for the player base than it was previously, with no benefit to the players. The only benefit here is Second Dinner's weekend engagement metrics probably go up a little bit because people have to actually play on those 2 days, but it doesn't help players at all. And this is just a really common thing I've seen in the Snap community where people will just defend Second Dinner and their decisions regardless of if it is in their own best interests or not. And frankly, I think it's just gross. It's just sad to see people defend a decision that is actively making the game worse for no tangible benefit. Another thread here from Interrobang talking about the time going down on the weekend missions actually raises a really interesting point too from Sir Julian the Tall. And he's talking about the fact that we don't even have access to the weekend missions for the entire first quarter of the weekend in Japan because of the time difference. So they're not even really weekend missions for a bunch of people who are not on the North America time zone. And that losing that extra time feels even worse because a lot of the time they have available isn't even on the weekend to begin with. And I do want to close with something that I found a bit more positive out of this discussion. I do find it really exhausting getting the comments defending decisions like this that actively are a bad thing for the player base in the game, but sometimes you'll get a bit of self-reflection. It's very rare to get that on the internet, much less twitter.com. But I got one of these in the comments, and it gave me a very small amount of hope. And this is a person saying, I've been the person that's defended the questionable decisions, but I think that's why I'm incensed about it a little more. I paid a lot of money because my brother plays fully free to play, so I rationalized it like that. So now I see this is what my investment bore. I'm sorry. This is probably the most rare thing I've ever seen where someone initially does not agree or initially is defending the company over a lot of unpopular or detrimental decisions, finally having a realization, hey, this is just a full net negative listening to what other people have to say, I don't make these complaints because I like to complain. I make these complaints because I don't think they're good for the game, and they're actively damaging the game without providing any substantial benefit. It's all bad and no good, and that's just not good for the player base, it's not good for the game, it's really not good for anybody except Second Dinner's engagement metrics on the weekend. So it makes it all the worthwhile to see someone actually reconsider their position a bit when they see these constant poor decisions. I did want to include that at the end because it's a very rare thing to see, and I think it's worth celebrating a bit. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the video. Let me know what you think. I imagine most people have been on pretty much the same page as me with this seems really bad, that they're just taking away so much of the time that we've previously had. And I think they could really fix this issue by making it not take so long. I don't think there's any issue with the credit wins. I think those aren't too bad. I also think the token ones aren't too bad either. I believe this weekend was 3 for Daken. It's only 100 tokens, which maybe that's not the greatest, but at least it's only 3 wins. But these Nimrod wins are just, it feels so bad. And that's without even accounting for the fact that it's less accessible of a card. And coincidentally, Nimrod is the card in the Spotlight caches this week. So I think they're trying to push you into maybe opening those caches if you don't have Nimrod and you're considering it, so that way you can get this little bit of extra gold. But I think if they are going to stick to making the weekend missions only 48 hours, they really should lower that amount of wins from 15. 15 just feels kind of ridiculous unless you're someone who's playing the game a whole ton. You don't even really get that much gold for it. So I think they should either lower the number or at least make it play games instead of win games. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.